to episode 37. This episode is brought to you by Gwop.com. This episode is also brought to you by my sponsors. Shout out to my sponsors, The Infatuation and Anchor. If you listen to this on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or any shit like that, anywhere you download podcast app, if you listen to this on a podcast app, you would hear the introduction with the sponsors. I don't need to repeat them because they're in the introduction and they don't pay me to do it on YouTube. But shout out to them because sponsors are very important when you're building a podcast and building a podcast audience. It allows you to do a lot more. So shout out to them. All right, so we're going to get into it. So speaking of sponsors, Beyoncé just signed Adidas to a new deal. Yeah, you heard that right. Beyonce signed Adidas, nigga. This is Beyonce. You don't sign Beyonce. She signs you. All right, so Beyonce and Adidas have a partnership, a lifetime deal. So, checks over Stripe. Twitter is real mad right now. It's not a good day for Nike losing a big potential client like Beyonce. Like that is massive right there. So that's big for Beyonce, big for Adidas, bigger for Adidas than Beyonce, although that's going to be Beyonce's probably getting paid fat for this deal. It's great. It's bigger for Adidas, for the brand of Adidas. That just shows the power of a celebrity like Beyonce. Like, she wields so much power. Her whole fan base, the Beehive, you don't want to fuck with the Beehive. And it's like, that's the reason why I introduced this by saying, Beyonce signs fucking Adidas, because that shit is doing more for them than it is for her. But at the same time, I don't know that. I don't know the money wise, but it's just like brand wise, for your brand, it does more for their brand than it does for her brand, in my opinion. I think it would be better for her brand to sign with Nike, but there's no bigger star for Adidas to sign than Beyonce. That's why I think it's more of a deal for them. But I want to find out the particulars in that deal, because these lifetime deals are deadly. The type of money you have to throw out for a lifetime deal. Interested to see where that's going. So all right, so let's get into our topics. This Twitter meme guy, I'm gonna post this video right now. This motherfucker, this nigga was famous and everything, and he's blowing up, and it's like, not famous, but like, it's blowing up. Everyone's using that Twitter meme guy for scenarios of them showing up at family reunions or whatever. Insert scenario, people are using it. But really and truly, that guy's a terrorist. That guy's been housing ISIS and certain other terrorist groups. I don't know, it's crazy. There's a report. I should pull up the fucking report. I can't do everything off of the dominology. Pause, because that's also used for another term. Let's see this report. Yeah. Was recently jailed for sheltering two terrorists who participated in the Paris attacks of 2015. But it's yeah, okay. Yeah. So that's what he fucking was jailed for. This guy is not, he's not what, the meme thinks. The meme basically portrays him like he's coming out of some fucking, like some court show, like those TV court shows, like a Judge Judy or some shit like that. But nah, this nigga's this guy was fucking sheltering terrorists. This is not a this ain't a good guy to try to act like, you don't insert yourself in this motherfucker's role, because then you're putting yourself in a terrorist role. You never know what a terrorist looks like, because a terrorist doesn't look like a certain description. A terrorist is a terrorist. Terrorist can be any color, any shape, any size. Terrorist is just a fucking terrorist. There's terrorists. Like, people don't understand. People want to put certain people in the box of terrorism, but really and truly, the kid that shot up a church and killed 9 black people, that kid's a terrorist. That white kid. It's not just a certain demographic that's being, like, for me, for what I consider. I don't just completely conform to societal norms. I make up my own mind, and I categorize shit in for what I see as the truth, because that's a terrorist in my opinion. That guy, that meme guy, is also a terrorist, but you know what I mean? There's different shapes or forms and types of people that terrorists come in. Terrorism is not just, one look to terrorism. All right, so Did I not report this in my last one? Lonzo Ball sues Alan Foster for $2 million in damages. That's on the board for fucking report. Didn't I report that in my last? I didn't. Fuck. That was probably in a Ball Talk Daily episode. Yeah, Ball Talk Daily. This is a good time for you guys to subscribe to Ball Talk Daily. No sponsors on that currently. Struggling out here, but daily episodes. Ball Talk Daily. Yeah. He robbed Lonzo Ball for $1.5 million from his family account and his business account. There was $1.5 million accounted for that unaccounted for that he's being accused of stealing. So to sue for $2 million in damages, that's kind of usually when people get robbed for that amount of money, they turn around and sue for like triple. So he's getting off light with a $2 million suit, but let's see if he could actually afford that $2 million suit. This is really a bad look for Alan Foster. Throughout the past week and a half, he's been getting dragged through the mud, and it's like he did it to himself. This man was untrustworthy to the most trustworthy people, the most kind, giving, family-oriented family in the Ball family, and they let him in. They brought him super close. It's like for him to fuck over the Ball family and to fuck over Lonzo is just like betrayal at his max. Like he was a fraud in the past, charged for fraud and all sorts of schemes and shit in the past, but it's like for you to get that, another opportunity to really cash in and make some real ass money with a family that's looking out for your best interest, and you're supposed to be looking out for their best interest. Like it's not a good look for him in his life. I don't know where Alan Foster goes after this. I don't know if he's going to be able to pay any type of lawyer money to fight this suit that Lonzo Ball's suing him with. It is I'm not saying I'm feeling sorry for this guy, because it's fucking, I support the Ball family and Team Lonzo all the way at the end of the fucking day, but it's just like, shit, this guy's life's going to shit. I'm just merely putting out the fact that his life is going to shit. I don't want niggas to take me fucking wrong and act like I'm fucking caping for this dude. That's the consequences of your fucking actions. I'm just saying his life is going to shit and he ain't going to be able to recover from this one. I don't know what the fuck LeVar is doing with LaMelo Ball. He's saying he's going to play overseas. So LeVar's taking LaMelo to go overseas instead of playing in college basketball. But they're talking about his eligibility, and the reason why he's doing that is because he's not eligible to play college basketball because of agents and sponsors and having his own shoe and blah, all sorts of fuck shit. So it's like, for me, I would really go down the college. I would try to find some sort of loophole for the amateurism law and try to do something. I would try to find a way to squeeze into any Division I college program if I was LaMelo. Fuck going overseas and raising your stock. The problem is, like, when you're in a program like a Duke was the best example to see, because when you looked at Zion Williamson and his unrefined game, because he was just dunking on like white kids that were like 5'6" all through high school, because the region he played in, there was really no competition. He was just dunking and jumping over everybody, just raw athleticism and skill, but not refined skills. He goes to a program like Duke, and all of a sudden his tools are getting sharpened, and all of a sudden he's putting his game together in a way, and he's playing with comparable athletes, and well, not really comparable athletes. No one's really comparable to him, but at the same time, he's playing with Division I athletes and players that he can gain chemistry with, and players that are NBA bound as well. It's much better for him, and that would have been a future for like LaMelo Ball if this whole shit didn't turn left in this overseas talks, because LiAngelo can't get back into UCLA or any school, so it's over for LiAngelo. He already went for the NBA draft as well, and he missed, so he has to go to the G League and try to find that way. But they still didn't put LiAngelo in the G League, so I don't know what the fuck LeVar is doing. And for him to take LaMelo overseas, I thought the brothers were doing their own shit, but clearly he's still underage to the point where he has to be controlled and dictated by LeVar's vision. But that's rough, man. If for me personally, if I'm LaMelo Ball and I'm his age, knowing myself and my path that I took at his age, I'd be like, nah, sorry, Pops, I'm doing it this way. I'm going to see if there's a way I can get in college. I'm not following your path because your path is not the right way. Look at the way Lonzo got in. He got in the right way, the go through college way, go through, the high school rank college, and then, eventually the NBA. You want to go through the proper way and the proper promotions and the proper channels and the proper things that will get you a sure round draft pick. Like LiAngelo's way didn't work. LaMelo's more talented. I feel like LaMelo's more talented than all of them offensively, not defensively. Like clearly Lonzo's miles ahead of all of them defensively, but offensively, I feel like LaMelo's like has the most natural raw talent. He's not going to get to the NBA and shoot terrible free throw wise. He's going to shoot 80% plus, like 80, plus from the free throw line. He's definitely one of those refined shooters. Handles everything. He has a total offensive game, so it's like you don't want to waste that talent. He's not like LiAngelo was like borderline. Okay, you could kind of squeeze him in on an NBA roster and he'll basically never play type of shit. But he's not. I don't want to disrespect LiAngelo, but from what we've seen, he's not NBA caliber yet. He can shoot. If he can shoot threes consistently, like the way we've seen him shoot threes, especially the way he did in the LKL, then possibly he can be on a roster and just be a designated 3-point shooter because his game is not fully well-rounded and doesn't do much well but shoot the three. His post game is decent, but he's undersized for the NBA. Yeah, man, you don't want to drop the ball on that one. And LeVar dropped the ball too much on that one already. So, yeah. He has to go a different path. All right, so we got what do we got next? We got 6 people stabbed at this vigil, Nipsey Hussle vigil or memorial at his store in front. Basically where he died, there was a vigil there.
Comments, what the heck is going on now? What's going on? Whoa, they're trampling people. All right, guys, I'm not hearing anything on the scanner. What the heck just happened? I don't know what happened.
The news and the report said 6 people stabbed. I didn't see, and you can't see anything from that type of scuffle and that type of, you don't know what the fuck's going on. Yeah, you see people getting trampled, but that's all you see from that type of shit. I don't know what the fuck's going on, man. This shit is messy. R.I.P. Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey's legacy is just growing by the day. His sales are shot through the roof, and that's great because he owns his masters and everything goes to his family. So everybody that's streaming or purchasing his music and don't listen to the fucking bandwagon or the people that are saying, oh, don't be a bandwagon fan. Oh, if you weren't a fan when he was alive, don't be a fan now. Don't listen to those motherfuckers. Be a fan now. Jump on the bandwagon if you never listened to him now. Stream his shit. Let that money go to his family. He owns his masters. He set up the game. Like Nipsey set up a blueprint for a lot of niggas to follow and how to actually like handle your career and your life and how to move. So it's like if people just follow his blueprint and learn from his life and shit, it's like his legacy was very important to a lot of people, and it could really be influential for the right way and the right purposes because he lived right. He lived real. So it's always good to take example from somebody that lived real. All right, let me get to my next couple of topics before I get the fuck up out of here. All right, let's get to this NBA. Oh no! Whoa! We gotta get the Future. We gotta get the Future first because we just came off the Nipsey shit. Future is getting dragged because he's trying to compare himself to Nipsey. He tried to say something about I should have got. Man, I'm dropping the ball right now. I'm fucking up. How do I not have the tweet that everyone dragged him for on deck right now? I should have had that shit because he's getting dragged relentlessly. Like, it's just jokes for days because he tried to compare himself to Nipsey, and Future's not known as that. Future's more known as, like, his internet persona is more for, like, the toxic masculinity type of shit. That's what people categorize him in. It's all just fun and games and shit. Niggas is just joking and shit, but it's like, actually, some niggas ain't. What am I talking about? Niggas ain't joking. I'm joking because I don't give a fuck, but when people are saying the toxic masculinity shit and he's the face of it, they actually believe it. The whole Sierra situation and the Russell Wilson situation, they believe that Future is the face of toxic masculinity and the way he moves. So when he was comparing himself to Nipsey, people weren't having that. They're like, get the fuck up out of here. It ain't the time to compare to Nip. You see Russell Westbrook go 20, 20, and 20 he dedicated the game to Nipsey Hussle, dropping 20 points, 20 rebounds, 20 assists, something that hasn't been done since 1968 or something when Wilt played. So it's like, it's been that long. Wilt Chamberlain had to do some shit like that for that shit to be done. Russell Westbrook obviously had to fucking fight for the last couple of rebounds and shit and play nearly the whole game to actually accumulate the stats, but you can't blame the man for stat padding at that point. He's trying to contribute that, get the 20, 20, and 20 to represent the rolling 60s and shit and try to pay his homage to Nip, but you can't blame him for stat chasing. Who the fuck's amounting those stats without stat chasing? Yeah, when Wilt did it, he didn't know he was doing it and they didn't know what the fuck was going on. But Wilt was so dominant and the game was so different, and he was just like, it was ridiculous what Wilt was doing. So you can't compare that. But doesn't matter how good of a player you are in this day and age, nobody's doing that. It just shows the type of work ethic and the type of athleticism and stamina that Russell Westbrook has, because you can be the best player in the game. You could be LeBron James and he's not putting up 20, 20, and 20. You have to work your fucking ass off to get 20, 20, and 20. You have to meticulously plan and plot how to get them shits. Like, you're going to be like, okay, every free throw, y'all niggas move the fuck up out of the way. I'm getting the board here. To start the offensive break, I'm getting the board here. Y'all finish every fucking open three I passed to y'all, open layup for Steven Adams. He had to fight for those 20 points. He was 8 for 23. Like, he went in to try to get that 20, 20, and 20. And he got it. And you can't hate. Nobody should say niggas is stat padding and they're stat chasing and all that bullshit. Like, nah, I ain't having that. Yo, this fucking iPhone XR face recognition shit, it pisses me the fuck off sometimes. Sometimes I try to open that shit and it's trying to act like you don't know it's me. Like, nigga, what the fuck?
Man, what the fuck is you talking about?
That ain't no weird flex. Nigga, I'm just fucking saying. I hate when niggas say that shit. That shit pisses me the fuck off. All right, so before I wrap up this episode, let's just talk about this MVP race that should be cemented. I've spoken about this before in past episodes or Ball Talk Daily probably. But man, this shit is over. I don't know what are we still talking about? What are we still? It's Giannis by, like, I don't care about James Harden. Yeah, he's putting up 36 points a game, and when you look at his career stats, they're just constantly getting better. It's just year after year he's averaging more points, and it's just moving in an upward direction. He got his MVP last year, and for me, I don't care about none of that. 36 points is great, but you shoot 13 threes a game. You shoot 13 threes a game. You don't even hit 5. That's great. I'm not shitting on James Harden right now, but I'm just saying, there's only, like, the only person, like, I remember to ever average or hit 5 threes in a game or per game has been Steph Curry. He's done it twice, but he's never shot 13 threes a game. The most he's ever shot is probably 12 threes a game. So he's shooting a lot of threes, getting a lot of threes. It's his style. It's very ball dominant. The highest usage I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, he's great stats. Yeah, Houston's third in the West or fourth in the West. I think they're third in the West. I should check that right now before I start talking. Yeah, they're third in the West, but regardless, that's not cutting it. That's not cutting it. Yeah, they say, oh, if he was in the East, his record will be better. And it's debatable. Probably could be, but he's not. And the reality is Giannis is putting up Shaq numbers when Shaq was 24, but better. Prompted Shaq to say that Giannis was better than him at 24. I disagree. Shaq was a different type of player. Yeah, Giannis is more well-rounded and he can do more. He can pass. He can, he averages more assists, the same amount of rebounds, the same amount of points. But stylistically, he can bring the ball up court, dribble up, get to the basket. Shaq needed someone to feed him. But that was just the different type of game, the different era. Shaq was more dominant to winning championships, and his championships prove it. He has 4 championships. Giannis is currently at none, but Giannis is still 24. He still has time to get it. Shaq at that age didn't have shit either, so he had to work to get it. So I'm not going to disrespect in that regard. Shaq's tripping, though. 24-year-old Shaq, I'm taking all day over Giannis. Sorry, Giannis, you're great and everything, but 24-year-old Shaq was domination. But yeah, Giannis for MVP for sure. This is not even close. Like, the nigga doesn't even play half of the fourth quarters because they have the most double-digit wins in the league easily. They're coasting to wins right now. They're slapping up teams. Middleton's putting in work. Brogdon got injured. It doesn't matter. Bledsoe, Middleton picking up the work, guarding the guards on the perimeter. Yeah, they have a good team. Yeah, their team's well-rounded. Yeah, they have support. Yeah, they have some depth, but so does the Rockets. So does every great team in the NBA right now. You're not one of the top teams unless you have great players and great depth. And if you don't have great depth, then you have a ridiculous starting 5. Like Philly. Philly's not the deepest team, but their starting 5 is savage. So it's like you have to be one of those loaded teams to be competing right now. So we're not going to take away from Giannis's MVP contributions just because his team is actually good. But his team doesn't really have stars like that. They don't have superstars. Like, yeah, Middleton was an all-star. Bledsoe's kind of like a borderline type all-star, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. They're not stars. They're not like Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and you know what I mean? That's fucking Boogie Cousins. Like, those are stars on a team. So even in James Harden's in his situation, Chris Paul, like when James Harden goes out for a game, Chris Paul's stats go all the way up and they still win because the system works. You just have to have a ball dominant guard and you shoot a lot of threes. That D'Antoni system just works. Gives you freedom to shoot your threes, gives you freedom to dominate the ball. So not taking anything away from James Harden because he's having a ridiculous season. Who averages 36 points per game? Like, he's destroying everybody. Like, nobody's close. Nobody else is averaging 30. So it's like, either way, though, Giannis for MVP. If the ballots come up and James Harden wins MVP, this is embarrassing for the NBA media and all the voters because this is so obvious. Like, yeah, great stats, great inflated stats, whatever. Giannis is the MVP. All right, this has been Blunt Talk with LT episode Who the Fuck Cares? StatGwop.com. You're...